It is one of my favorite events of the year, and it is coming up this weekend. That's right. Hey, everybody, it's Kellen Nitro for Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Happy New Year, happy new decade in 2020. And the first major event of the new decade is New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're kicking it off with the huge 2-day, for the first time ever, Wrestle Kingdom 14 extravaganza from the old Ig Dome. Now it's just the Tokyo Dome, or Giant Egg, whatever you want to call it, in Tokyo, Japan on January 4th. And January 5th, the event will be streaming through Fight TV, through the New Japan World service. By the way, get New Japan World. It's awesome. And you can watch your favorite matches through there. A lot of the second night's card is pretty much dependent on results from the first night. The way I will do this predictions video is I'll run down the first night's card, and in the matches that are kind of set in stone on the second night, I'm going to make my predictions on as well. Case in point, obviously we don't know the participants for the double gold dash match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and Intercontinental Championship, because we don't know who the participants will be. Whether it will be Tetsuya Naito or Jay White on one side of the equation, or will it be Kazuchika Okada or Kota Ibushi on the other side of the equation going into this double gold dash match? I'll make my predictions as we get towards the end of night one, but that's up there in the open. There's also, I guess, the consolation match, which a lot of people are thinking might be a number one contenders match for later on down the line. So, and that takes into account the losers of the final two matchups on the first night for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match and the Heavyweight Championship match. So, those aren't set in stone at all. However, there's a huge match on night two that's already set in stone. There's a huge match on night one that's set in stone. So, let's get to them. So night one, in the pre-show, we have a first with the Stardom Girls. That's right, 4 of the top athletes from Stardom Women's Athletes, or Stardom Wrestling, Joshi Wrestling goodness, that is super awesome, are involved in a special one fall. And this is big because we have Hana Kimura and Mayu Iwatani renewing pleasantries. And this is one of the hottest feuds over the past year or so in Stardom. And they're going to be on opposite sides of this tag match. I apologize for the butchering of the names, just because I've kind of fallen out of watching Stardom on a regular basis. And with the exception of the Stardom girls that come over to work AEW, i.e. the B. Priestleys and so on and so forth, their tag partners are not as familiar to me as they should, but I'll try to pronunciate these correct anyway. So we have on one side Iwatani and Arisa Hoshihiki taking on Guilia and Hana Kimura. Sorry, Guilia, if I butchered your name going in. We'll find out, of course, when they do the announcement and that stuff. Should be a very interesting match. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great exhibition for Stardom. I'm so proud to see this company get the partnership with New Japan, and this is it. This is the first women's match that we will see on a Wrestle Kingdom card, I think, ever. I'm not entirely sure. I have to go back and see, but I don't think they ever did anything, with the Knockouts when they were affiliated with TNA or anything like that. I think that this is it. I think that this is the very first matchup that we will see involving 4 women on a Wrestle Kingdom card. I'm going to go Iwatani and Hoshihiki for the victory in this one. Next match, 8-man tag team action with Great Bash Heel. So Honma and Makabe, Yue Imura, Yota, there's a bunch of young lions here. Yota Tsuji, taking on Toa Hinare, Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, and Carl Fredericks. Those last 3 names, that's the LA Dojo. That's LA Dojo guys. I'm familiar with their work. I've watched a bit of it over the summer and the fall. And, of course, the other side has Great Bash Heel with a couple of New Japan Dojo guys from Tokyo. So it's kind of a Young Lions 8-man tag mix. I think people are going to be really, really impressed with Hanare, Coughlin, Connors, and Fredericks, and that's who I'm going to side in this 8-man tag match. Watch Fredericks and watch Connors. Both those guys are going to be stars in the future, maybe as a tag team or maybe even as rivals, but they are amazing. You're going to love it. Third match on night 1, Tenkozi. So Hiroshi Tenzan and Satoshi Kojima taking on Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. So ever since the Rumble that they had, the Wrestle Kingdom Rumble kind of got abolished a few years ago, they still would bring in legends for this card, but just kind of put them in different matches. We've seen it before in the past couple of years and that stuff where they've been sprinkled in 8-man and 6-man tags and that stuff. And this is another example of that, where you got Nagata and Tenzan and Kojima and Nakanishi all in a tag match. So it's basically a Legends tag. I'd like to see Nagata and Nakanishi get the win here, but I think Tenkozi is just too strong of a team. So Tenzan and Kojima probably will get the win. In the lead up to his retirement match the next night, Jushin Thunder Liger teams with the legend, the Dragon, Tatsumi Fujinabe, the Great Sasuke, and Tiger Mask with El Samurai to take on Naoki Sano, Shinjiro Otani, Tatsuhito Takiwa, and Ryusuke Taguchi in a 8-man tag team juniors legends match. This thing is going to be off the chain. I think Liger's side will probably get the Duke, but look at all the names in this thing. Sasuke, Liger, Taguchi, Otani, Takiwa. I mean, like, man, this is just a Hall of Fame roster going in there. 8-man tag. This is, again, we mentioned that just earlier in the video about that, so. Match number 5 on night 1, we'll see LIJ, so Evil, Sanada, Takagi, Bushi take on Suzuki-gun, Suzuki, Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and El Desperado in an 8-man tag team match. This will break down into a war, as the war between these two factions has been raging since almost last year's Wrestle Kingdom, maybe even a little bit before then. They do not like each other. The barbs have been flying already online and in the printed media as well. So this is going to be a fun match to check out on night 1, match number 5 on the card. I will give Suzuki-gun the nod, just due to the fact that I think that it'll be Minoru Suzuki and Shingo Takagi left in the ring at the end of it all, and I think that Suzuki might still, even at his senior age, might have a little bit more than Takagi does at this point in the game. So another 8-man tag team match on night 1 in match number 6, where we take a look at it, and it's the old rivalry between Chaos and the Bullet Club reuniting again. So the Chaos side with Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi taking on Bullet Club's 8-man tag team foursome of Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, Kenta, and Yujiro Takahashi. I think that this is just going to be a showcase for Kenta versus Ishii. God, I want to see that match in 2020, and I'm hoping that it happens again. That would be incredible. So I think that would be what it ends up to at the end of this entire match. Again, this will probably go all over the place, and I'm going to give Kenta's side. The Bullet Club will get the Duke on that one. Then we start handing out belts with 5 matches left on the first night's main card. The IWGP Tag Team Championship will be on the line, where the team of FinJuice, which is Juice Robinson and David Finlay, take on the team of the Gorillas of Destiny, Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga. This should be a very hard-hitting and exciting match, and I don't see Robinson and Finlay working the whole tag team partners split angle yet. I think that they have to win something and hold on to something for a while, i.e. the IWGP tag team belts, in order for that to work. So the FinJuice team of Robinson and Finlay is my pick to beat the Gorillas of Destiny on night 1. Next match would main event any card anywhere in the country or the world for that matter, NJPW or AEW, because we've got Lance Archer defending his U.S. title versus Jon Moxley in a Texas death match for the IWGP United States Championship. This match can only be won by a 10-count knockout or submission. It's an old school Texas death match, which you would think would favor Moxley, but Archer, he's a tough dude. He's kind of been playing that Bruiser Brody role over there where he's just demolishing people left and right. I'd like to see Moxley get the win. I'd like to see Moxley get the U.S. title back. I don't think that's going to happen, so I think Lance Archer is going to narrowly escape with the IWGP U.S. title. Just my prediction off that. Singles match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship is the 9th match on night 1. Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi. This is a big, highly anticipated match. This is Takahashi's first chance at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship since coming back from that devastating injury he suffered that put him out for quite some time. And his first dance partner back is Will Ospreay. So these guys will look to steal the show. This match should steal the show. I think it's lined up for doing so, and I think that Ospreay will narrowly retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title here. However, with Takahashi being involved in Liger's retirement match the next night, we'll get to that in a few seconds here. It's very believable to see him win so that the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion is represented in Liger's retirement match. But you know what? I think Ospreay retains here. I really do. Final 2 matches on night 1 begin with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and I guess the beginning of the bracketing for the double gold dash match for night 2, which will be the main event, where I'm not sure if it's a unification of the IWGP Intercontinental title and the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, or if it's just so you can get both belts on one guy going forward for a bit to see what's going on. But on the IWGP Intercontinental side, it's Jay White taking on Tetsuya Naito. This will be a hard-hitting encounter. This will be well worth the price of admission for the pay-per-view and everything and the live event crowd. I'm looking forward to seeing this one go. Again, a singles match for IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Should be straight up, no real steps in this or whatever. Gotta watch for Bullet Club on White's side. Gotta watch for Gato on the outside with White, and with Naito, you just gotta watch for LIJ's involvement there too. I think White has a slight edge, and I think that he'll get the win, moving himself into the double gold dash match as the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, getting a crack at that IWGP Heavyweight Championship. The second half of that is the main event of the first night, night 1, match number 11 on night 1. Kazuchika Okada takes on Kota Ibushi in a singles match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and I expect this one to go, close to a time limit, if not right up to the time limit, but I think we'll get a decisive victor here. I think that they're leaning towards repeating what they wanted to do at the Garden for that double gold dash match, so I predict Kazuchika Okada to retain over Kota Ibushi, setting up Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada one-on-one in the double gold dash match the next night. That would lead us to Naito and Ibushi in that kind of de facto number 1 contendership match too on night 2, which would be incredible as it is. If it stands like that, I think Ibushi gets the win over Naito. Night 2, January 5th, the first time they've ever done a double sellout live, as they would call it in the classic rock circles back in the 70s. At the Tokyo Dome, and then of course the New Year's Dash will happen the next night on January 6th. So, but for January 5th, for night 2, match number 1 of 9 on the card, as I'm looking at it on the rundown, is the Never Openweight 6-man tag team Gauntlet Championship match. And Gauntlet matches involving either the Never Openweight 6-man tag team belts or the IWGP Junior Heavyweight tag team belts were kind of a de facto, marriage with this card. Kind of almost like how the Money in the Bank ladder match used to be a once-a-year thing with WrestleMania every year. You always expected to see this match type go on with either, like I said, the Junior Heavyweight belts or the Never 6-man belts. So anyway, the sides in this one are the most violent players of Maccabi Toru Yano and Taguchi, who are the champions, taking on Chaos, Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Robbie Eagles, Bullet Club of Fale, Chase Owens, and Takahashi, Yujiro Takahashi, and LIJ, Evil, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi, and of course, aside from Suzuki-gun as well, Taichi, El Desperado, and Kanemaru. I think that Suzuki-gun side, they've been really pushing Taichi, El Desperado, and Kanemaru the past few months as something to see, especially Taichi. So for him to walk out of Wrestle Kingdom weekend without a belt of some sort would be almost a crime. I particularly don't like the character myself. I think it's too Final Fantasy-esque. It looks like something out of a Squaresoft RPG or something like that. But for fans of Taichi, for fans of Suzuki-gun, I'm going to side with you here and think that your trio of Taichi, Despi, and Kanemaru will walk out with the Never Openweight 6-man belts. The retirement match, Liger, Naoki Sano versus Ryu Lee and Hiromu Takahashi. So this will be amazing to see just across the line what's going to happen. Of course, Ryu Lee, Dragon Lee, and Takahashi, they put on some epic encounters, including the match, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, where Takahashi got hurt, in that matchup. I think it was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight belt way back in the summer of 18, I think it was. Anyway, but yeah, Ryu Lee, Dragon Lee, and Hiromu Takahashi on one side, and we got Naoki Sano and Jushin Thunder Liger on the other side, with the legend Yoshiaki Fujiwara, as a cornerman for Liger and Sano. And I think that the modern side will win out here. I think Takahashi and Lee, especially if Takahashi has that junior heavyweight belt, will beat Liger in his last match. But it will be emotional, it will be fun, and it will be something to see on night 2. It might just steal this show. So we'll see what happens. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship up next. The Bullet Club team of ELPL, Phantasmo, and Taji Ishimori, the champions. Sho and Yo, Roppongi Frike, coming to the ring for that one. Match number 3 on a 9-match card. This should be a lot of fun to see as well. And I think Roppongi Frike will do it. I think the Bullet Club is going to suffer a fall here. But again, Ishimori and Phantasmo are incredible talents. And I think that this might push some things in motion. I kind of am seeing here, I think that Jay White's place as leader of the Bullet Club might be challenged sometime this weekend. So I'm thinking with all of the Bullet Club, I'm predicting with all of the Bullet Club losses this weekend, quote unquote, that on New Year's Dash something might happen here where we might see maybe a fellow like ELP or something attempt to assert his dominance against Jay White. If that's the case, then sign me up for that. That's could be some incredible wrestling coming up in 2020. Singles match number 4 for the British Heavyweight Championship, which is Rev Pro belt. We got Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Sonata. Zack Sabre Jr., of course, the champion, and Sonata representing LIJ, the challenger. This, again, is a Suzuki-gun versus LIJ affair. This will be hard-hitting, and I think Sonata will walk out with the belt here. I think Zack Sabre Jr. his time as the British Heavyweight Champion might be up, so we'll see what happens off that. But my prediction, Sonata will walk out with the belt. And of course, our first to be determined here on night 2, it is for the IWGP United States Championship, where Juice Robinson will get a crack at the winner of Archer and Moxley from the night before. So, so I said, I think, I'm trying to remember back what I said exactly. So, not going to make a prediction there because don't know who the other side is. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy that one. Singles match for the Never Openweight Championship will go on next, night 2, match number 6. Kenta, the champion, will take on Hiroki Goto. Pretty cool to see Kenta get that career resurgence in Japan over the past 6 months or so. since returning over there. He looked like a broken dude in Phoenix last year, let me tell you. And when he left the arena after that last match on 205 Live there, we saw something where he was kind of holding his head to the back and kind of did the whole old Barry Horowitz pat on the back and waved to everybody as if to say, okay, that's it, I'm gone. And then we found out, as everybody was, talking about the rumblings and before going into Tuesday Night SmackDown back then, we found out that not only was Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley leaving WWE, but Kenta as well has decided to leave WWE, and that was a Hideo Itami, Kenta. That was another big shock for sure. So with Kenta and Goto going one-on-one for the never openweight belt, I think, like I said, I'm not predicting a very successful weekend for the Bullet Club here. However, I think this will be the one belt that they hold on to. I think Kenta will be the never openweight champion walking out of Wrestle Kingdom. And I think that he might be one of these figures that might step forward to try to assert leadership of Bullet Club. I think there's going to be 3 people that will be laying claim to being leaders of Bullet Club at the end of this weekend. I think Jay White will be one. I think Kenta will be the second. And I think El Phantasmo, ELP, will be the third. So kind of setting up maybe a freeway storyline fighting over the leadership of Bullet Club over 2020. If it rolls out like that, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. The 7th match on night 2 will be where they put the quote-unquote de facto number 1 contendership, or the losers match from the IWGP Intercontinental Championship and IWGP Heavyweight Championship match on the card. So, of course, we don't know who's going to be in that, so no predictions for that one. Then the big event on night 2. Night 2, match 8, singles match. If Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Chris Jericho, the Painmaker, on his soil, on New Japan ground, then Hiroshi Tanahashi will receive a match for Jericho's AEW World Championship. Whether that would be on a episode of AEW Dynamite, on a pay-per-view, or so on and so forth, or on a New Japan card, would have yet to be determined, or will be determined at a later date if that were to happen. If Jericho wins, though, he's taking it to Omega, he's taking it to Naito, he's taking it to Okada, and then he will have taken it to Tanahashi. I want to kind of see Tanahashi beat Jericho here, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Jericho will not easily handle Tanahashi. I think the match will be a classic. I think it might be up there for match of the year if both guys can go at the pace they want to go at. I think Jericho will beat Tanahashi here, and I think just putting the chance at the AEW title on the line is just generating just some extra buzz, an extra pay-per-view buy or two for the weekend. And then, of course, the main event on night 2, match number 9, again, is another to be determined, because that's the double gold dash match for both the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and Intercontinental Championship, where any combination of White, Okada, Naito, and Ibushi will end up in that match. So, here comes a very exciting weekend. It's going to be a lot of wrestling, a lot of staying up late as this happens during the nighttime hours over here in North America. But what's your predictions for Wrestle Kingdom 14? What do you guys want to see? Leave them down below in the comments. And, hey, I'll only read out the correct ones. How about that when we do the recap at the end of it all? All right, folks, later days, happy wrestling watching. I'm Kellen Nitro. See ya. And again, Happy New Year. And my wishes to you for a safe and happy 2020 to you, my viewers, fans, and subscribers. Catch you on the other side.